이 시간은 지난 주일 이동농민 선교를 다녀온 우리 자녀들의 소중한 간증의 시간을 갖도록 하겠습니다. 정말 은혜로운 시간을 가졌는데 참석했던 우리 주디 청 양 나오셔서 느낀 바를 여러분들 앞에 고백해 주시겠습니다. 우리 주디 청 양 나올 때 박수로 환영해 주시고 인사해 주시기 바랍니다.
So as many of you guys know, our youth group recently came back from Migrant missions. And before we went to Migrant missions, we had these training sessions. It was every Friday for 2 weeks. And during one of those sessions, I remember Pastor John, who is our youth pastor, and I remember him telling us that we would learn from the kids as much as they would learn from us, and perhaps even more. And I remember thinking that. And I think I really understood and was able to experience what he meant by that when I went to Migrant missions this time. So on the third day of Migrant missions, I remember feeling a little anxious for no particular reason. And I just remember feeling really tired that day. And I think I was a little burnt out. And it was lunchtime. And we were all eating lunch in the cafeteria. And I was going to go to the gym to get my water bottle, and as I was exiting the cafeteria, some of the kids that I worked with earlier, they saw me and they came over and they gave me a big hug. And at that moment, I was just so touched by their hearts and how kind they were. And when I was feeling so tired and so down on myself, that they were able to kind of like push those feelings away, and that they were able to make me smile. And I was just so thankful for that. And and that they were able to do that, I was so thankful for. And really, these kids are some of the sweetest kids I have ever met. They're so bright, they're so warm, kind and loving, and full of life and energy. And they're so affectionate. They would always ask the volunteers for hugs. And I remember Allison, she is a second grader that I worked with. She would, every single time she would see me, she would give me like the tightest hugs. And and in this way, I think that they are really no different from us. They have their own phones, which they carry around. They ride on bikes. They like math, and they also have their own hopes and aspirations and dreams. I was asking some of the kids, what they want to be when they're adults, and a lot of them said like doctors and lawyers, and I just think that is so inspirational for them, that they have their own hopes and dreams like that. And yet, I know that a lot of these kids, it's going to be hard for them to reach their full potentials and, really do what they want to do, because their poverty holds them back. They have to work on the farms. They have to, move from Florida to Michigan, and they have to skip school, and they're not able to have these opportunities that, we take for granted. And so I could see that as these kids grew older, some of their hopes would kind of start to fade away. I was talking to this one girl that I met on the first day of missions. We went out to the living homes for some of these kids, and she was 16. She had just turned 16 that day, coincidentally. And I asked her, what's your favorite thing to do? And she said, I work. And that to me was just so sad. Because, if somebody asked me, what's your favorite thing to do? I would say, I love baking, I love reading, and, I have all these lists of things that I like to do, but the fact that she said that when I asked her that question really just spoke volumes on, what her life was like, and, how hard her life must have been working on these farms and traveling from place to place. And yet, I think that these kids, they are so blessed because they are able to smile and they are able to laugh. And these kids, they have some of the brightest smiles I've ever seen, and I think that is just such a blessing because laughter is a precious gift that God has given to us. And I was so thankful to see that God was looking out for these kids in His own way, and that they were able to smile through hard times, that they were able to laugh despite the conditions that they were in. And this trip, I was able to learn so much from them, and I really pray that as much as we were able to learn from them, that we were able to, our group, we were able to touch the hearts of these kids. Thank you.
네, 우리 주디가 아마 처음으로 이번에 이동농민 사역을 갔을 텐데요. 간증하는 얘기를 들어보니까 준 거보다 얻은 게 더 많다 하는 이야기를 하고 있고요. 아이들에게 이렇게 허그를 받았을 때 얼마나 또 힘이 되었고, 또 그동안 자기가 누려왔던 것들이 얼마나 참 귀한 것인가 하는 것을 깨닫는 참 그런 좋은 계기가 됐던 것 같습니다. 저도 우리 가서 학생들 또 우리 어른들이 사역하시는 것을 보면서 참 정말 좋은 사역이다. 내년에는 더 많이 가시면 좋겠다. 우리 아이들을 참 많이 보내면 좋겠다는 그런 생각을 했습니다. 이동농민 사역을 위해서 계속해서 기도해 주시고, 또 이번에 저희가 뿌렸던 그 사랑의 씨앗이 아름다운 결실을 맺을 수 있도록 계속해서 기도해 주시기를 부탁드리겠습니다. 이번에 우리 학생들이 12명이 이동농민 사역을 멋지게 정말 감당했는데요. 그 중에서 앤드루가 이 시간 우리 간증하는 시간을 갖도록 하겠습니다. 우리 앤드루 나올 때 우리 힘차게 격려의 박수로, 환영의 박수로 맞이하겠습니다.
Hello, my name is Andrew Song. I'm going to go to college this year, and I'm here to talk about my experience at Migrant Missions. This past week, I got the very special opportunity to help migrant children on the west side of Michigan. This is actually my third year going, and each and every time I go, I learn and grow so much about myself, others, and most importantly, God. The reason why we as a church go to this mission is because Michigan is a prominent place to grow lots of crops. So migrant families will travel to Michigan to pick our fruits and vegetables. The life in a migrant family is not easy. Children from a very young age will grow up on the farm picking crops to help support their family. This means that many of them don't have the same opportunities that we have, like the ability to receive a higher education or a quote-unquote normal childhood. So we go to their schools and try to spread God's word and joy to these migrant families through creating crafts, decorating t-shirts, string bags, etc. Through interacting with the kids, I would hear stories about moving from Florida and place to place, leaving their friends and pets, and siblings that pick crops in the farm. This deeply saddened me, yet it also taught me a very valuable lesson. The blessings that God has given us are so plentiful in comparison to these children. We should truly be so grateful for the lives that we have been gifted. These kids have such hardships in their lives, yet they are truly the most joyous and bright children I've ever seen. During the short time I've spent with the kids making t-shirts, I could truly see God working in not only me, but in the children. While I went to spread love to the kids, I received just as much, if not more, love from the kids. If these children can show God's love despite their living situations, we have no excuse to go and spread that same love to everyone we meet. So I encourage both you and your children to seek out opportunities like Migrant Missions to do God's work because He has given so much to us. Thank you.
우리 학생들이 정말 어찌나 이렇게 자기 생각을 또렷하게 잘 표현하는지 너무 참 감사하고요. 1부에는 주디가, 2부에는 앤드루가 간증을 했는데요. 둘 다 공통적으로 말하는 것이 주러 갔지만 정말 많은 것을 얻고 왔다 하는 그런 이야기를 하는 것 같습니다. 우리 자녀들에게 또 여러분 자신이 이 이동농민 사역에 관심을 가지고 계속해서 기도해 주시기를 부탁드리겠습니다.